Hey guys, my name is Jason from Sow the Land, and today I'm off the homestead, and from time to time I like to get out there in the community and share with you guys some other cool things that people are doing. And today I'm at Colfax Creek Farm. We're gonna do a tour of this pasture raised family farm.
And then all of these are in our beef program.
What kind are these?
So the red that you see is primarily a red Angus, and then the black is going to be black Angus. These black ones are actually crossed with a South Pole bull, which is it's a newer, it's more specialty breed that's primarily focused on being able to perform well on fescue and grass alone. But I'm happy with their performance. So my name is Aaron Bradley, and my wife Nicole and I own and operate Colfax Creek Farm and Colfax Creek Meat Company. We're here in Boston, North Carolina, about halfway between Asheville and Charlotte. We do grass-fed beef, we do pastured pork and pastured poultry. We're operating on a few hundred acres here, and we direct market all the meat that we produce. We also work with some other partner farms as well.
So these are egg layers?
These are the egg layers, yeah.
You know how many about?
There's about 200.
200?
Yep, 200, yeah. We had 1,000, probably, we sold them about this time last year. I think 200 has been more manageable with the housing. That was the struggle that we had, is trying to piecemeal infrastructure for 1,000 birds as opposed to the 200. This is set up for 200, and they got plenty of space. The square footage is appropriate for them, and they're going to go in here and roost at night, so you can shut the door and I could move them from here to a completely different, like I could take them to a lease farm if I wanted to. The enterprise is good for cash flow, but the biggest thing with the poultry is just the diversity and the nutrients that they provide for the pasture. You know, you're able to increase your organic matter and your nutrients pretty easily.
How often do you move them?
About every 3 to 5 days. So it's dry. This is an area of pasture.
Oh yeah, it's dry. It's lately.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to take and, you know, you get a good rain and you can look back where they were in a week if you're getting regular rainfall and you see lush green growth. But I mean, we've been dry for a couple months now. So even where we've moved them, we just walked through all the area that we moved them from, and it's pretty tough to see the improvements without the rainfall. So when we do start to get good consistent moisture again, then you'll see those results. It's pretty impressive what they can do.
That's a good one right there. You said this was a camper.
It was a pop-up camper,
okay.
Yeah. Nicole got really excited when I told her I was buying a camper, and I was like, no, not for that, darling.
It's all right.
Oh yeah. Nicole and I are both fifth-generation farmers. And my family's been farming here in Western North Carolina since 1901.
Wow.
And we both took the plunge to farm full time without you know, a town job back in I guess it was 2019 is when I did, and 2020 when Nicole did. I had that conversation with an employee the other day. They're like, why don't we have more permanent fencing here and there? And it's like, you know, we will, but often in the past when I've put in stuff, I'm glad that I've done, you know, either a temporary or more of a semi-permanent setup, because you end up moving it. You know, you adjust stuff. You move the landscape, you adjust an enterprise a certain way, you figure out new stuff. And the water line is just a good example. If you go bury a water line and you put in access points, that's exactly where it is. But if you do something that can serve, it can serve the purpose for long-term use, but you also have the ability to move it fairly easily, you know, I think you're setting yourself up for more success by giving yourself options.
What's the plan here?
So, old corn crib. And so what we're doing is we're modifying, coming back in. It's got good bones to it. But we're gonna end up putting a couple pits in here, and then this is gonna be like a hub for when chefs come out to the farm. This will be like a live fire cooking hub, right? So we're gonna have all sorts of different stuff, and you know, we're getting different methods for them to be able to cook stuff.
Oh, turkeys. Yeah. You ever have a problem with them flying over?
I haven't, no. Really, we could be a little more careful about the water being pushed in a little bit more.
No predators?
No, between the fence and the Pyrenees, that pretty well alleviates all the predator issues. You see people that are using like cargo, like shipping containers, or you know, metal buildings or something like that. And I'm really interested in playing with the concept of being able to try to take a mobile brooder that can be used as the field shelter as well. I mean, you don't have a bunch of livestock trailers sitting around, but so you could do that.
Put heat lamps in there?
Yep. So that's we had this trailer. We're not using it for anything. It's got a couple bad wheels, so it's not really roadworthy. But we brewed it in the trailer, and it was just really easy to be able to bring the trailer from the barn with heat lamps, you know, and added protection to the field, and then be able to move it with them.
It's like I've used I don't know if you're familiar with the Johnson Skovich chicken tractor.
Yeah.
I've used that for a brooder out on the grass.
Yeah.
And put heat lamps in there with some
Yep.
hay. And then use it for a structure as they get older and move them around on the grass.
Yeah, I think field brooding is I think it's just fine. You're taking heat lamps and you're doing that. If you can do that on that kind of scale, I mean,
oh yeah,
I know a lot of people are worried about it, but
no,
you know, you're just fine to be able to do that.
The quickest way you can get the birds on the grass, the better.
I agree. Yeah.
How many pigs are you running here at this farm? At your farm?
Right now at this farm, we probably have about 160, 170. Our end goal with this area that they're in here is more of like a silvopasture establishment. So what we do is we take certain tree species that we're going to keep them. Persimmons, dogwoods, sourwoods. You know, if we're looking at oaks, we're gonna go in and we're actually trying to leave the best trees that we have as seed stock. That's a challenge that we have with forestry, is we take the best trees and then leave the worst ones. So we're wanting to leave the best ones here. You can see right here on the line, there's an acorn.
They don't want to cross that line.
Nah, they're not gonna cross. That's not worth that to them. There's one.
So after the pigs are moved out from an area, you just let it rest and that's it? Do you plant? Do you do anything else?
I like to plant, yeah. So planting is going to help with improving the soil, but it's also going to help with erosion control. You know, there's a little bit of a slope here. And so what we try to do is really formulate the area for the amount of pigs and the size of the hogs to try to anticipate some of the disturbance. Leave them in that area. We go back and we'll put season-specific annuals.
Use that with a seed drill? Is that how you do it?
No, so we broadcast here in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult to get the equipment in. One thing that you do have to make sure is that you have an open enough canopy that you can get sunlight in there.
So you're butchering hogs once a week?
Yep.
How many?
We harvest every week.
About how many?
So it just depends. I mean, I know that, you know, some months we'll do around 60 and some months we'll do up to about 120.
Wow. Nice.
But it's in between that range, and it depends. Yeah. Certain accounts keep us busier than others at times, and there's a lot of seasonality to that too.
And do you breed here?
We do. Yeah, and we've downsized that. We've actually just have a handful of sows now. I think we made it up close to about 50 sows. Right now, ideally, we'd like to find more partner producers that could help us with piglets. But you know, you got to be careful because you know, you got to have it to where you can get consistency as much as you can. You're never going to be able to achieve 100% consistency in pastured pork because, I mean, look at January and look at July. It's just two totally different things. Look at, you know, we talked about these acorns. That makes up a big part of their diet right now.
Yeah.
That's very seasonal.
Right.
So, and it has an impact on carcass quality. As we scaled back up, one of the things that we had,
So what's cool about your farm, Aaron, is that you mix your own feed, is that right?
we do. So
How's that work?
we get the feed ingredients in, and then we actually we grind and mix them here. So some people call it a hammer mill, some people call it a grinder mixer. This is a Gill 125. It runs off your PTO shaft right here, so it runs off your tractor.
So it comes in here first, this part?
Yep. So it comes into this part right here.
Oh, that part. Okay.
And then gravity fed down into this part. The hammers bust it down into a smaller particle size, so whatever screen you got in here, that product's going to be in here until it's small enough to fit through that screen.
Okay.
We use like a coarser screen if we're doing poultry. Like for the layer hen feed, we want a little bit coarser size, bigger size. But we break it down, and then all of the products go into here. The pre-formulated mineral pack goes into here, and then everything mixes up. And so then it would just be, it's like a mash feed that you would buy. If you bought a 50-pound bag of feed or a super sack, it's going to be like that.
So then it all pops out of this thing.
Yep, so we will take that, and when the tractor's running, you can pull this lever right back here. It just pops in and out. Pull that. You got a gate back here. So as you open this, it's actually opening it up from down there. You got an auger that augers it up into here and then just augers it out through there. So, and this thing comes off, and like you can spin it around, and if you have multiple feeders set up, you could be able to pull up and then, you know, fill multiple feeders from the same position without having to move it, but just moving the offload and auger.
What's in these?
So, in this we keep corn.
Corn.
And the way that we do it here is we can take corn and we can auger things into this mobile bin if we need to, and then move that out. So if we hand feed, we've got some of these mobile bins, but we keep corn in here. There's three things that we really use primarily for our feed: corn, and then in here we have an expeller pressed non-GMO soybean meal. You get a few different ways that you can handle soybeans because they'll go rancid because of the oil. So you got to get the oil out of it, or you got to cook them. So you can roast them, and those are what's called whole roasted soybeans or full fat beans. You can do a chemical extrusion, or you can do an expeller pressing. And so the expeller pressing, I mean, they're pressing the oil out, and then you get the bean product mill. And so the oil is what makes it go rancid. So getting that product out gives you more stability with it. There's a list on the ground, but we buy barley from them too. So, and again, barley's non-GMO, but the corn and the soy that we get are both non-GMO products too. And then the mineral packet that we use is non-GMO. We're raising poultry on pasture. We're paying attention to those scientific approaches to make sure that we're doing our part to be as efficient as possible, again, without sacrificing the animal welfare or the land stewardship, right? So it's the balance, but it's not just the kind of all shucks, put them out there and feed them whatever type thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's really trying to pay attention to what we can and be progressive where we can.
So where do you sell your products from, your meat products?
So a big retail market for us is the Charlotte Regional Farmers Market down off of Yorkmont near the airport in Charlotte. We sell at restaurants across the Carolinas and up into Virginia and down into Georgia. And we sell directly here from the farm. You can find it online at colfaxcreekfarm.com. Spots that we work with, some local butcheries. Like to always give Foothills Local Meats over in Black Mountain a good shout out. They've been a long time partner with us, but a few different butcheries around that you can find us. Yeah, you can check us out. You can find all that online at colfaxcreekfarm.com.